Didn't do it.
Hey guys, I'm coming here to give you guys some exercises that might help minimize some of that low back pain. I know as we sit a lot, and if you see right here, our hip flexors get real tight because they're closed. So we're going to address this from a standpoint of what's probably tight hip flexors with an anterior, a forward tilting pelvic. So when our pelvic gets pulled forward because these muscles get tight, we end up here, and a real tight low back because we end up having to compensate this way. So we're going to address it from a standpoint of lengthening the hip flexors, engaging the abs, and creating that better alignment in the pelvic area. So what that's going to look like is we're going to start on the ground, and what we want to do is we're going to start with that pelvic tilt. So laying flat on your back with your knees bent, you're going to create that cavity under your low back. So you have that space here. What we want to actually do, this is the important part, is be able to push that low back into the floor. That's the basis of engaging our abdominals. If you cannot do that, then your abdominals are probably not engaging. And anytime we do any kind of core work, abdominal work, we want to be pelvic tilt before even starting. So that's a little helpful hint for a lot of you there. So we want to pelvic tilt, pushing that low back into the floor, and then raise back up. We can pelvic tilt, push that low back into the floor, and then raise up here. We're going to do that 10 times. Nice, good, controlled movements, really working there. Then we're going to, from there, stay right on your back. You're going to pelvic tilt, again, pushing that low back into the floor. Then you're going to raise up right here in the hips. So we're going into a bridge. We want to squeeze the glutes, sucking in the stomach, hands right up here like so. If you need to go hands here, that's okay, but we're going to hold that for 30 seconds, nice and steady. If that feels pretty easy, you can progress this. Everybody should do the first set with the double leg, but then if you're capable, go ahead and raise up here and hold a single leg bridge. You can also go hands up this way. If you find yourself cramping in the back of that leg, that's an indicator that your glutes are not strong enough. And that's a great way to help those glutes fire and get a little stronger. So we can go here. You can even go up and down, up and down. What I like to do is go up and hold for 20 seconds, and then I go up and down 10 times. Boom. If you find yourself cramping in the back of the legs, that means we need to go back and do our double leg bridge and just stay there for a little while. So once we do that, we're going to come over, and we're going to come on our hands and knees. And now what we're going to do is a little cat-cow, which is again involving that pelvic tilt. We're going to make a cow and then cat pose. So we want to lead this from the hips, from the pelvic, low back area, not so much the shoulders, but right at the pelvic here. We do that 10 times nice and slowly. 10 times. Once we get 10 times there, go ahead and come up this way. Now we're going to stretch the hip flexors. I'm going to add a little pad to my mat here, put my knee on the pad. Now, one thing that a lot of people do when they try to do this stretch, to stretch the hip flexors, is they don't pelvic tilt first, and they just kind of go forward this way. And what happens is I basically compensate here at my low back, and I don't really stretch the hip flexors as much. What we really want to do is we want to pelvic tilt. So we want to, just like we did when we were laying on our back and we were pushing that low back into the floor, I want to do that same motion, which could be pretty tough for some people. That's okay. As soon as I do that, I'll start feeling that stretch specifically in my hip flexors here. And once I do that, if I can get a little forward lean there, that's when I'm really going to feel that hip flexor stretch. I'm going to hold that for about 30 seconds, and then I'll switch sides and do the other side. I have my chair here because if you need it, you can use that chair for a little balance and really allow yourself to relax, which is important. We don't want to be wobbling here. We want to be able to hold on to something, relax, pelvic tilt, and hold that stretch for 30 seconds. After that, we're going to come back down to our back. We want to lay back down. Once we're down, we're going to go hands flat on the ground, relax, suck in the stomach, and we're just going to go to one side. We're just going to stretch it out now. We're going to go to the other side. We'll hold each side for about 5 seconds. Nice and deep breaths. Bring it around. As I come around across the middle, pay attention to that low back. Push it into the ground as you come across and relax. Hold for 5 seconds. Bring it across. Relax. Go ahead and start turning your palms up now. Same thing. 5 seconds each side. I know that was a little fast, but for demonstration purposes, hold each exercise for 5 seconds. Each side 5 seconds. We're going to do. You'd go back and forth 10 times there. Then the last one, we're going to address our posture because that plays into it as well. You're going to come right on the wall here. We want to get about a foot away from the wall with your feet. Lean back against that wall, bend the knees some, suck in the stomach, hands here. We're going to push into that wall, squeeze the shoulder blades, push, 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 squeezing those shoulder blades. You want to hold that for about 20 seconds and then come down nice and low. Again, squeeze the shoulder blades. If you can get your head back to the wall, that's good. If not, don't overstress about it. Push, squeeze the shoulder blades, and relax there. So those exercises are really good foundational exercises to help you guys with some of those low back issues that really come probably from tight hip flexors, low engagement of the abdominal, weak glutes. There's a lot of directions we could go from there, but those are good exercises that you can do. Really, you'd want to do each day, 1 to 2 sets of each thing each day, and you should start seeing some relief. Now, I will say, if you find that the center of your back, right in here, if you start to get a little sore, maybe take the number of pelvic tilts down. That you may not be used to that much movement. Maybe a little bit aggressive to do that many pelvic tilts rather than 10. Maybe try 5 and kind of build your way up there. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope it helps. Looking forward to seeing everyone again soon.